It's never nice to see people being thrown under the bus, but I think it's fair to say, Brian, we spent a good portion of the afternoon together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's true.
and I think it's fair to say that when we reached the ninth hole, after following Rory and Shane for the guts of 2 hours, two and a half hours, that you said, "I've watched enough of this shite. I'm going in."
Well, I had to file for the
Okay.
beat.
But generally, that's essentially you quit on them, and I kept going.
The suffering was terrible. Yes.
Okay, so I kept going, and I kept going and was rewarded because I saw a terrific back nine that was
Yeah.
the stuff of not quite fairy tales, but certainly very interesting. The cut is 7 over par as they turn into the back nine, as Rory turns to the back nine, and I stay with him when he bogeys 11 and goes to 8 over.
Yeah.
Okay, and I stay with him when he throws his iron in frustration on the next hole, the 12th, down the fairway.
Yeah.
And I stay with him when he birdies 15 to get back on the cut at +7. And I stay with him when he plays the 8 absolutely beautifully to birdie the hole and go to 6 over to make sure he's in for the weekend.
Yeah.
Right? I follow him up the steps, across to the clubhouse, watch him go into the recorder's hut, come out of the recorder's hut, and give a signed ball to Carson.
All right.
The scoreboard man today, yeah. Give a signed ball to
Yeah.
Carson, shake his hand, and walk up towards the media and where we're
Yeah.
gathered. Okay?
Yeah. Nice lad.
And I was absolutely sure at this point he's going to stop and talk
Yeah.
to the media. But he doesn't.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it, and pretty much everybody there didn't understand it either. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah. This is the question. We'd love to ask him.
But let's tease it out. So,
Yeah. Okay.
okay, so let me continue. So he goes into the clubhouse, walks straight by, tells Brian Pasquale, the press officer, no, I'm good, not talking. Walks into the clubhouse, goes upstairs, gets his bag, walks out 5 minutes later. I follow him from the clubhouse. Out into the car park, he turns left up to where his car is parked. All the former champions have a sign with their name on it, the cars. He's parked third from the end, and he's walking up with his little small carrier bag, baseball cap turned round.
That's right.
He's got 2 security guards with him, 2 coppers. Tells him he'll be here in the morning. See you in the morning, all very well. Seems in good form. Is walking towards the car and he notices Claire Fleetwood parked in John Ram, the former champion's parking spot.
Right.
And she's parked there because Tommy has missed the
He's
cut.
missed the cut, yeah.
So she's waiting for him to bring all the stuff out. Anyway, Rory sees Claire Fleetwood, goes over to her and says hello. They have a quick chat. Goes back out, gawks to his car, opens the boot, throws the bag in, reverses and pulls out.
He's gone.
No screeching tires or anything like that.
No.
But,
Okay.
So
Not like Pinehurst.
so he's in good form when he's
Yeah.
talking to the security guards, and he's in good form when he's talking to Claire Fleetwood.
Yeah.
But it's very obvious that he's in bad form and doesn't want to engage at all with anyone from the media.
No.
Me included.
Yeah.
Walk
That's
straight
right.
by.
Yeah. He walked straight by. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going on?
Well, it's all since this driver incident at the PGA, and this seems to be the thing that's got to be given him a B in
Is
his
it
bonnet.
though? Is it though? Is it? I mean,
Unless there's
you know,
something going on behind the scenes personally, which we don't know.
Well,
I don't think that is it, though.
let's go back to
Don't
Quail
know.
Hollow.
Yeah.
He gave his press conference there. We were there. I listened to it. I thought it was
Yeah.
as good as I've heard from him for ages. It was
Yeah.
in brilliant form. I would have spent an hour there answering questions.
Yeah.
And then obviously the driver issue came up, and we speculated here that this is what was chewing him up. That he was, and justifiably, I said, I thought he was dead right.
He was the only one called out, yeah.
He's the only one called out, and he had a reason to be pissed off. And I thought, well, look, that's not right. He's grand. He'll be grand next time.
Yeah.
He arrives here, gives the press conference on Tuesday.
Sure. Funny form.
In funny form.
Funny form. He's asked, what driver you got this week? It's a TaylorMade. Yeah, what one?
Yeah.
Come out and look at me on the range and find out. The driver question in particular seemed to annoy him.
And it's not, he's short and he's snapping, not
Yeah.
snappy, but he's out of sorts.
Yeah.
Something is eating him, and I don't know what it is.
I don't know either.
When's the first time you saw Rory McIlroy play golf?
When he was 14.
No, you've known him
Yeah,
since forever.
yeah.
You've listened to him since forever.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen him like this?
No, I've never seen him as. No, it's very strange for him. It really
Yeah.
is, and it's mystifying. Everybody in this entire room, everybody is talking about it. Everybody's wondering what's eating him. Some guys have theories. Oh, maybe he's now that he's won the Masters, he's just giving the two fingers to the
But
media.
that's
That
not
doesn't-
him.
That is not his MO. No.
You've known, as I said, you've
Yeah.
known him since he was a
Yeah.
kid. That is just not in his DNA to be like that.
No. And he didn't ignore. I mean, when you were out in the car park, I just passed by because I was going up to see if I could see
Yeah.
Shane Lowry, and I
Yeah.
just saw him, and I knew he wasn't going to stop and talk to me, but I just said, "Great finish," and he just went, "Thanks,"
Yeah.
and then off we walked.
Yeah.
So at least, to a golfing, compliment or whatever, he's able to say that. So it wasn't,
Yeah.
it's a strange one. He doesn't want more quizzing on.
And fellas finish with bogeys and they're in bad
Sure.
form, but he's finished great. He's played. He's played
Unbelievable.
really well.
Yeah, played really well. He shot 72 today, and that after, a really horrendous start as well.
Yeah.
2 double bogeys in the first 3 holes.
So a mystery and a big talking point here.
Yeah, and it's going to go. I mean, somebody said to me, that's 6 major rounds in a row that Rory McIlroy hasn't spoken to the media.
6 for 6 now, they say.
In
yeah.
majors.
Yeah,
So he
okay.
did speak in whatever, Canada.
Well,
didn't he,
yeah. Look, I just hope it's not. Anyway, we'll move on. Now Shane did talk to the media.
He did, yeah.
And he had.
He shot 78.
An interesting day, to say the least.
Yeah.
And obviously he's playing with Rory, and we watched. You watched
Front nine.
You watched the front nine.
Yeah.
I watched all of it,
Yeah.
and you asked me then. Of course, you said to me, "Right, tell us about 14." No, let me tell you what I
Yes.
saw for. So I'm walking down 14. We stop about 60 yards short of the green.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking up, and then it's just like he starts bursting out laughing. Everybody's laughing. Well, I kind of think, well, this can't be that funny. Then there's a rules official called, and the rules official, who's quite an elderly man, is struggling to get up to the green, and he's only halfway there when someone tells him, "No, it's okay."
That's okay, we know what's happened.
We know what's happened.
Yeah, we know what to
Now,
do.
now, here's the thing, and this is why our business has changed. I don't know what's happening, and I'm there. I'm looking. I see them all
Yeah.
laughing. I see the rules official going up. I see him coming back, and I don't know. I am actually the last person on the golf course who finds out what's happened. I have to wait until the rules official comes back.
Yeah.
Till one of the TV guys who's up there comes back and says, "Listen, he
was going on he
picked up his ball without marking."
That's it. He had
on
a
the green.
55 footer for a par, and he went down to pick up the ball. In fact, earlier in the round, I noticed he had to ask Darren for a ball marker. He
Yeah,
hadn't
that
even
was-
got a ball
that
marker,
was first hole,
which
yeah.
was a strange one.
Yeah.
So he goes down and he goes down. He reaches, he picks it up, and he doesn't actually stand back up. He stands there with the ball sort of 6 foot and his arm extended, and the guy goes, "Oh shit, I'm after picking up the ball," and he puts it back down again. And he looks at Darren, and Darren's looking at him as if he has 10 heads, going, "What have you
Yeah.
just done?"
Yeah.
And then they just start laughing. Because Shane was, so far out of the tournament at that stage that he just said that, I didn't know. I don't know where I was. I don't know where my head was. I don't know where my head was.
Just beaten up by the golf course and the
Absolutely
day.
destroyed. Yeah, he really was. The start especially. I mean, you're 9 over going out.
Yeah.
You know you're going to have to shoot 68, to have any chance of making the cut. And,
And again,
bogey,
but
double
again,
bogey,
again,
bogey,
again,
bogey start.
how long has he playing golf?
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to him
He said
before?
he's never done it before.
No, there you go. There you go.
Never done it
There
before.
you
That's
go.
Oakmont. Yeah,
It's
that's the US Open.
That is Oakmont. I mean, this place is. Well, let's talk about this place.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the leaderboard,
Okay.
Brian, because I've got some questions for you.
Yeah.
So Sam Board's leading
Yeah.
on 3 under, JJ Spawn 2 under, Victor Hovland 1 under, Adam Scott is at even par, Ben Griffin's at even par, Victor Perez 1 over, Tristan Lawrence is 1 over, but hasn't finished
He has
his round.
He has a 4-footer par on the 9th on his last hole. We think because it hasn't been registered on the scoreboard, so it absolutely started hammering down. 8:15 here.
Place
the Hooter.
suspended.
The Hooter goes. I think there's 5 groups left on the course, and
5
15
groups.
players, including Tristan
So
Lawrence.
there's a chance
South
he'll
African.
hold that for 1
Yeah,
over.
there's a good chance,
Or
yeah.
go out to 2 over. We'd still be there.
Yeah.
Russell Henry 2 over, Brooks Koepka 2 over, Siwoo Kim 2 over, and Thomas Detry 2 over.
Yeah.
Now, that's 11 players. That's 11 players, Brian. How many of those 11 players are currently in the world's top 10?
In the world's top 10, Russell Henley.
And he's 7, world number 7.
He's world number 7. He's tied for 8.
And he's tied for 8. Okay.
2 over par.
Right, tell us about then, where are the world's top 10 figuring after 2 rounds at Quayle or at Oakmont?
Okay,
The US
we'll
Open.
go in reverse order here,
Okay.
right? Bryson DeChambeau, the defending champion,
And world number 10.
and world number 10, miscut 10 over par.
Okay.
Hideki Matsuyama, tied for 58, made the cut on the mark, 7 over par. Number 8, world number 8, Sepp Straka. Fancy, one of my tips,
one of your tips,
cursed him,
yeah.
miscut 11 over.
Yeah.
Russell Henley obviously tied for 8 on 2 over. Ludwig Aberg, another one of the fancied runners, miscut 8 over. Justin Thomas miscut 12 over.
Oh.
Colin Morikawa tied for 23rd, 4 over.
Yeah.
He's the world number 4. And then you got Xander Schauffele
And Rory.
and Rory McIlroy, the number 3 and number 2 in the world, tied for 45th on +6.
Yeah.
1 shot inside the cut
And
line.
the
And
world
then the
number
world
one,
number
Scotty
1
Scheffler?
is tied for 23rd on +4
Okay.
without really
Okay.
doing anything.
Now you know this game. What does that tell us about this place, about Oakmont, this storied, iconic venue? What does it tell us?
It's brutally hard. I mean, the way it's set up with the rough, the way it is with the greens.
But these are the
way
world's
they
best players.
Well, that's what Shane Lowry was saying afterwards. You know, what happened? And he go, look, 3 players under par. World's best players are here, and look what it's done to them. That's the US Open. I mean, it's
But
the pin
Jesus,
positions
I'm starting to fall
are.
out of love with this. If that's what the US Open is, I mean,
Yeah, I'd agree. I kind of agreed with this compared to what we had in Pioneers last year, where there was cheers and there was roars.
Brilliant.
There was
Absolutely
guys chipping off the
There's no noise. There's no noise on the golf course.
no atmosphere.
No
at
atmosphere. I mean,
There's no
Christ
atmosphere.
almighty.
We're just watching slow. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. I mean, there's guys. It's heavy rough everywhere, so it's a hack out, and then you've Shane Lowry had a 5 or 6 footer for a birdie today, a rare birdie.
Yeah.
I mean, and he 3-putted it. And that kind of stuff. So it's just everybody's kind of
Yeah.
and people enjoy.
What
Some people enjoy that.
What are they
but-
saying about it? You picked up some quotes.
Yeah.
So Burns, he's not.
Yeah,
not
well,
the most
Burns just
loquacious at the
no.
best
I
of
mean, he
times.
was beaten in the playoff by Brian Fox, wasn't he, in Canada last weekend?
Yeah.
Didn't play great in the playoff at all. But anyway, he shot 65 today.
Yeah.
Which people are saying this is up there with Johnny Miller's 63
Right.
around here. Now I don't know about, but 65. He's a brilliant putter, and he just said about the golf course, and it's so penal that you could stand up there and you'd be frozen on the tee, going, what am I going to do here? He says you just can't guide it around the place. You have to get up there, and where it goes, and just try and swing freely. And he's been doing that so well. Plus, he's been putting like.
Yeah, well, I think it's
like
more down to it. What about Brooks Koepka, who
Brooks Koepka shot
still
74,
there, 2
and
over.
there were no quotes from
No
Brooks
quotes.
today. Now
Okay.
I saw him out in the putting green
Okay.
after his round, and he was with Pete Cowan, and he was smiling and all
So,
the rest of it. So
aye,
he's
that's
another
all.
guy who isn't a real big fan of the media, I don't think. Anyway.
Right, John Ram.
Yeah, John Ram, 35 putts today. He shot
Okay.
75.
Okay.
Not a happy bunny at all.
Okay.
Basically, he said very frustrated. Don't think I've ever hit so many good putts that never even got a smell of going into the hole. So
Yeah.
he's frustrated, but he's +4. He's there with Scheffler.
And Scotty.
And Scotty Scheffler said he felt like getting away with shooting 1 over par today wasn't all that bad. He said, he could have been worse. Not playing to my expectations is a bit frustrating because he was a little bit all over the place, to be honest. To shoot 1 over, hitting it in the place he was hitting it was amazing. And he just said, I could easily be going home. But the key thing really, he says, is overall, I'm definitely not out of this tournament.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So Scotty is what are we saying? 4
He's
over.
+4.
So he's 7 shots behind Burns, but he believes he's still right in it.
Still right in it, and he's right. Yeah.
Well, I hope he's right. I mean, I hope we're sitting here now tomorrow night when we've got a bit more to get excited about.
Yeah. Well, Rory's 9 shots off the lead.
9 shots off the lead.
Right, 6 over. He's going to be going out. He's only made the cut by 1, so he's going to be going out, in probably about the 7th or 8th group of the day, the 10th group of the day. And it's just hammered down for the past 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Something like that. So the golf course is going to be soft. And he's a chance maybe, early conditions to post a score. If Rory gets to, let's say, 4 over.
Yeah.
That could have a chance going into Sunday, depending on these guys up ahead who aren't all thoroughbred, major winning front runners. So interesting.
We will hope for the best, and we'll be back here tomorrow night. And in the meantime, Rory, if you're watching, we love you, baby. Come and talk to us.